I'm a Raider for life, and I truly want to finish when it's all said and done, you know, in a Raiders jersey, whenever that time comes. But for the time being, it's a new day. I'm going to Baltimore, Flock Nation, everybody in the whole city of Baltimore. I got a lot to learn. Everything is going to be new to me, and I'm excited in attacking this head on like I do everything else. But the fans, I mean, you guys have supported me through it all. The ups, the downs, the passion. I understand, you know, people have, you know, their opinions, and people are going to be upset, and you guys have every right to be upset. I totally understand it. It's because you guys have passion for the game and love this team and organization and want to have a winner, just like myself. And you guys have seen it. You know, I play with a chip on my shoulder. I play with my heart on my sleeve, and I did everything in my power to try to bring a winner to this organization. So to the fans, I love y'all so much, man. Y'all supported me through it all, regardless, you know, of everything. I wanted to do it for y'all. You know, circumstances, you know, everything that was involved with coming to this conclusion, it was a whirlwind, man. I never thought I'd be in this position. I never thought I would be going anywhere else, truly. But God works in mysterious ways. And I didn't plan on things to be like this, but things happen for a reason, and I truly believe that. And the one thing about it is I have zero ill will towards that organization in any way. I want them to have all the success in the world, from Mark Davis, the legacy that he's carried on from his father, the absolute legend himself, Al Davis. That's what I wanted to embody since the day I got there, man. And it's not about words, it's about action and being the first in the building, the last out, the grinding through practice, training camp, leading from the front, bringing guys along, having young guys in my corner, taking care of teammates, looking out, pushing, having hard, tough love sometimes. I did it all with the intention of helping this team get better and improve. And regardless of all of that, I wouldn't change it for nothing. You know, my intentions were pure from the beginning. I know a lot of people have had, you know, questions, concerns, especially over these last couple weeks and couple months. You know, I decided to be quiet because there's so much noise, and ultimately I'm a football player. That's my job. It's to get healthy, to be the best version of myself, not to be in the drama, not to be involved with all the other stuff. And I've learned from my mistakes in the past, being too involved. And for me, it's just because I wanted to help this team win. Sometimes I was wrong, sometimes I was right, but ultimately my heart was in the right place, and I never will regret that, you know, as long as I live, man. I wanted everything good for the Raiders. I bleed silver and black. That'll never change.
You testing your heart, Max? I got your back.
Which team, by colors alone, is identifiable? Just win, baby.
Yo, what's good in your hood? It's Friday night. We got Pizzle for Shizzle.
Oh, it's
It's your boy Black. Quarterback. What's up, brother?
What's cracking with you?
Oh man, it's Friday, so you know it's the smoke show. So I got the smoke show for people that got smoke. If they got smoke about something I said this week, if they got some smoke about something you may have said, or just some smoke that you've seen in general, bring it to the table today. But today, this is the smoke I had. I'm gonna try to handle this the most blackish, quarterbackish way I can, because I think we got to sit down and talk about this. We can't go into the season with this division that we have between some of the people are upset with Maxx because he said the Flock Nation. I have to take that into heavy consideration about that, because for me, it didn't matter to me like that. I understood where it came from, and I think I trust Max in his word and what he's saying. So tonight we're going to talk all things Maxx Crosby and get it out and talk about it, so that way we don't go into the season with it. But is there a way to avoid it? Because a lot of people saying that he's going to be traded before the end of the season. So we're going to talk Maxx Crosby. And my number one question tonight is, do you think the Condor is going to retire a Raider? And we're going to kick off that conversation with that question first. Giselle, I want you to answer that in the chat. Give me a yes or no. Do you think the Condor is going to retire a Raider? And I'll give y'all my thoughts after I hear from y'all. So, what you think, bro?
For me, it's a 50-50 chance at this point. I mean, I think it's going to depend on this year, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. What's up, Bruce Willis? Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, it's just, I just expect more out of Max. That's all. Just like I did out of Derek Carr. I'm not really, I don't think I'm asking for much. But, you know, it is what it is. I think that there's a strong possibility he can be retiring as a Raider, but it depends, like I said, on how good of a year he has this year and whether or not we want to bring him back or not.
Okay, let me ask this. As you said, it's 50-50, and it depends on how he plays this year. Do you think that what does the trade package look like to you then? Well, we just saw not Aaron Donald. He must be talking about me. We just saw Myles Garrett gets essentially get traded for a ransom load.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what do you think Max's value is right now?
Well, what do I think his value is? What up, Nutty One? What's cracking with you? I think he's probably worth a 1, a 2, and a 3.
A 1, a 2, and a 3.
Yeah, I think that's a good value for a guy. I think 2 number 1s is out of the question, but that's just my opinion.
Bruce Willis says maybe in his career. If Maxx leaves, it's not no comeback one day contract and he retire a Raider.
Yeah, it'll be like that with like it always is, bro. That's what they always do.
Well, they didn't do it for Derek Carr.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet, because he's not officially retired all the way yet, I guess. But at this point, I guess that'll make it cool if they did that for Derek, considering how they did him. I think Max's trade value. I don't know really. I don't know. I would think that it would went up because Myles Garrett got another player. I'm talking about a pretty decent player, like a player, first round, and some more round picks. And so 2 first rounds to ask for Maxx Crosby, if we're saying he top 5, that shouldn't be asking for too much. But what I do know, though, is the reason why the Ravens offered that. Well, I don't know the reason why they offered it, but the reason why they rescinded it is because they got scared. They got cold feet. They got a case of the Clay Thompsons. They've never traded their first round pick before, and so to trade 2 of them on their first time, they kind of was like, oh, this don't look like a good deal. This is why we don't like to do it. So they got cold feet and did that. And I was listening to a Ravens podcast, from back when the trade happened, and I was just looking at their reaction to is the two first round draft picks worth it? And you know, a lot of them was like, yeah, we have never done that before, but they're glad they did it. So is Max gonna if the Raiders get an offer where they get 2 first round picks, do you guys think or do you guys think that Max would be traded from the Raiders if we do get an offer of 2 first round picks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you think that they would talk to Max about that first? What if he decides he didn't want to? What if he decides he's want to stay a Raider? Do you think the Raiders trade him then?
I don't know. Mark Davis and him do have a good relationship, so that's a hard one to call. That's a hard one to call.
Because I would like to think that they'll come to Max. If Max is the one that went upstairs and requested the trade, right? So that's what we were talking about on the show. That Max went up there. I don't think that's necessarily how that went, but I don't know. So I'm open to other chances of how that conversation could have occurred. But if they say, hey, look, Chicago, everybody linking him to Chicago. They say, hey, Chicago, they're offering us 2 first rounds and a okay player or whatever, 2 first rounds. Let's just say 2 first rounds. And they say, Max, so what do you think? And Max say, no, I'm good. I've already got burnt twice jumping out there in front of the team. I'm the leader, so I'm gonna take some shots for being the leader. But I did that for AP, and people got upset at me because I essentially said, and I haven't seen this, but I'm just gonna go with it for tonight. Essentially said that if you don't hire AP, then I don't want to play. And essentially, I'm just taking that to mean like that's him giving his highest praise.
He said he would want to be traded.
Yeah, he'll want to be traded. I didn't see it, but I'll look for it. And to me, I would take that as meaning like he just giving up his full confidence in AP. But he could have meant it too because he may be tired of the rebuild. He's been here since Oakland. He's been with the Raiders since Oakland. And we've been rebuilding all that time. All those times. He done went through all the stuff. Like, didn't he go through the Khalil Mack situation? Didn't he go through the Derek Carr situation? So you don't think he saw the writing on the wall? And so he like, okay.
I don't know if he was there with the Khalil Mack didn't make it to the team. I think he was drafted either right before that or after
right
that.
Before? Okay, yeah, you're right. So, but he's still seen it, and he was fresh in the building.
He know about it. For sure.
Yeah, and it was fresh in the building, and he was part of the residual effect of it.
Yeah.
And then looking at the history of the Raiders, so he tried to leverage himself to get out of there before it happened to him. And let's say this happened, and then if the Raiders do treat this situation wrong, what's to say it won't happen to Brock Bowers next?
Yeah, or Genty, or
Genty,
or
Mendoza, in that order.
Yeah, you're right. Who's to say it's not?
We the people was good, brother. So,
we the people.
So is he really that? Is it really that bad if he really had a conversation with Spy Tech and he was saying, "Hey, I can't keep doing this rebuild thing. Like, I'm trying to play meaningful games. What are y'all doing?" And then they tell him, "I'm not sure," and he's like, "Okay, cool. Well, can you put?" People probably been calling about Max all the time because especially once his contract started. a couple years in, teams get to calling. Hey, I'm just calling if you're interested, and usually we'll reject it. But today, they decide to put feelers out to see what is his market value. And so if they came to him and said, "Hey, we got 2 first rounds with Chicago, and now I'm also hearing the Eagles. How you feel about that?" And he said,
But
"No, I'm cool. I'm cool. Do you think we'll ship him off anyway?" And I know you said that was hard, but maybe you might have give it a little more thought. With the
if
people, what you think? Bruce Willis, what you think?
if it's for what we want, no, he'll be gone no matter what. I don't think he'll have a say because it's in his contract, right? It doesn't matter what he doesn't have a say on where he goes or anything. So if we
That's
want to
true.
trade him, we can
That's
can
true.
trade him anytime we want.
That's true.
So if someone calls and says, "Yeah, we want 2 number ones," well, sorry, Max, we want those picks, and then they'll absorb, the cap and all that. Cool. Peace out.
I don't think they would trade him. I think him and Spytech have a relationship where he wouldn't trade him if Max didn't want to go. Which goes to my answer, do I think Maxx Crosby will retire a Raider? I mean, like, I don't mean leave and come back as a Raider. I mean, like, stay here with the Raiders until the end of his career.
No, I got what you were saying.
Yeah, I want to clear it up. So I think he'll be a Raider. I think when you try to go out there and jump off the porch and then you mess around and get in trouble the first time, you're like, oh, let me reevaluate this. Maybe I should just, pump my brakes. I think that's kind of like how Max is in this situation. He keeps saying, even before he left, he said, God works in mysterious ways. And now he like, well, look, um, he's like, basically like, look, I'm supposed to be here. It's obvious I'm supposed to be here. And so I think he's just settled in that.
Yeah, well, he might be encapsulated by it, but I don't know if we are, or if the Raider organization is. We're gonna probably try and get the most value we can out of him. Well, we can still get something for him. Why wouldn't we?
Because it's a little bit more than.
It's a business.
It is a business. Hey, you tried to flip my own. It is a business. It's true. It is a business.
It's a business decision. It's a business decision.
Go on and make that business decision to hit that like button. Let's get in the algorithm tonight, y'all. Hey, you're right though. The one thing that's important about businesses is relationships. That's how you grow your business through relationships. And I think they have a really, really good relationship because even with this trade situation, of course, it's going to always look like Max. Well, I guess I don't have to, but it's going to look like Max want to leave if that does come up. And I think they just simply respected his wishes. And then once he got traded, and while he was sitting there waiting, he saw what the Raiders was doing. He saw all the acquisitions that was happening. They got Tyler Lindenbaum. They got some defense. So if the Raiders is bad early, Bruce Willis, it's going to be because of the defense. It ain't going to be because of the offense. So he leaves. It's not because he's out there playing good and the defense is lackluster or going to stay lackluster. I just don't see him leaving. I'm seeing him got one more rebuild in him here, and he knows that Clint Kubiak's going to be here for a while, like barring something crazy like an email. He knows he's going to be here for a while. Maxx is only 28.
Only, huh? I got you.
Yeah, only 28. What? How old are they when they come into the league?
Maybe 22, 23, 24.
Yeah, somewhere in there, right? So it's not like he 32.
Yeah, but he does got a he does have kind of a hurt shock absorber.
Yeah, but that'll heal.
Yeah, it's healing right now. It's healing right
It's
now.
healing. It's healing right now, and his knee, the 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 knee, he got to repair.
You got to
You
repair
know,
it.
so the repair takes longer to repair because you're
So to
using your
heal,
cartilage to come in versus getting it shaved down. You could get it shaved down and come back faster, but the long term effects is something
let me shave that bone down, baby. Come here. I got my
right.
plane. I got my plane
Right.
right here.
Yeah. So Maxx made the business decision, decided to go on and let it heal, get the repair.
You
So
didn't
he
want to get the plane? The plane.
he gets the
The
repair,
plane.
lost the plane. And then if he does end up, he can legit, after this season, have a better season after playing on it a year, and then have like 2 or 3 more good seasons.
You
And
could.
by that time, we should know where we at as a team. We
I
should
think
know where
we'll
we
know
are.
by I think we'll know by year 4 for sure.
Year
This
4, we
year,
better win a Super Bowl by year 4.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said we'll know where we're at by year 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, do you guys think Maxx Crosby retire a Raider? Because I think he just needed a hard reset. Actually,
He needed a reality humble check, is what he needed.
that happened. I would agree. I would agree with you on that. You know, I agree.
And
I
see,
agree with you on
that
that.
I can't be replaced attitude went right out the door.
I don't know if he had a that can't be replaced attitude, but whatever it humbled him. That situation humbled him.
And I'm happy for him.
So, what about what about Flock Nation?
Oh,
What, the- so let me tell you, I liken that to like because he did say it on this podcast, right? And he essentially was closing one chapter, opening another. And we know Maxx goes all in what he does, and he expressed how much he loved the Raider fans. He want to come back. He is a Raider, once a Raider, always a Raider. So you can't take that from him. He even was in Oakland, everything, right? And then he had to step into his new position because he goes all in and he says Flock Nation. So I liken that to
he couldn't
if
have
you ever
just said
been,
Ravens fans, Baltimore
huh?
Ravens fans. No, he couldn't have said that, huh? No,
He could.
he had to go with Flock Nation.
No, he didn't have to.
I hear you.
He didn't have to. So what you think? So you thought that was him being petty?
Yeah, I think he's given. He knows there's only one nation.
So he was being petty towards who?
Towards the nation.
So you think he was dissing the fans?
Yep.
I don't
Think
think
he was
that.
trolling us. Think he was trolling us.
Okay. All right. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. He was trolling. So let's say he was trolling, right? But now he ended up back on the team. So do you I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. So now
How you like me now?
do you get so mad that you hold a grudge against him because he trolled you on the way out? Because see, I likened it to like, have you ever been in a relationship and and you broke up with your girl and then you did something petty, like I don't know, take something that you normally wouldn't take, but you're taking it just because you're mad, or she takes something because she mad or whatever. That happens. Like, or she said something. He says something. Oh, you got a little thing, or that's why whatever. Say something crazy to you. I mean, like crazy, like you want to choke her crazy. You feel me? But then you end up back with her though. So you
Uh-huh.
end up back with her. So you remember she said it, but you
You got
still
it
in
in the back
there,
of your mind.
still cupcaking.
Yeah.
You ain't in there hating. What'd you say?
What up, Alfredo? Yeah, no, it's like, well, yeah, you tell them to leave, and then they come right back. They're back a couple hours later.
Yeah. So why do you? So why
But
can't people get over it? Because he never addressed it.
well, I think for me, yeah, it's him addressing it. It's just like I don't know. Like the more I think about it, the more it is like whatever. But like, I don't know why he had to do all that. But that's his business. He didn't have
I
to
mean,
do it. Like I said, he could have just said Baltimore Ravens fans, I'm coming there. What's cracking? Instead, he had to go all crazy with the Flock Nation shit, bro.
yeah, I think he went too far with that. I agree. It didn't hit me in the chest when he said it, but
No, but it's
but
a slap in the face. Just a
but
little
nah,
slap.
but I didn't take it like that though. But I can see how I was though. I'm not gonna say I don't because you really shouldn't said that. Uh, because he could have been thinking, I can't say Ravens Nation, so you shouldn't say Ravens at all. I mean, Nation at all. Like, I get it, but a
Exactly.
lot of people, but that's an undertone thing that really only us noticed that. We only us really noticed that. That didn't embarrass us, but
It's
I guess
not.
that don't necessarily matter. It was just the petty part, and I get it. But he never addressed it. And then when they came back and really asked him at the press conference, he like, "That's water under the bridge. That's a long time ago." And people was like, "Wait, it wasn't that long ago." But wait a minute, wait about we love you, Max, but what about that Flock Nation thing you said? And I'm not saying y'all we shouldn't be checking for it, but my question is how deep is that cut? How deep is it, Pizzle? How deep is it? Because as for me, I didn't even care. I didn't care at all, really. On the scale of 1 to 10, it registered like a 2 to me, for real. But then I was like, well, maybe I'm tripping. So let me see it from y'all position. And I saw it, but I was still got to about a 4. Only got to
Well,
like a
it
4.
just depends on how you feel about being disrespected. I guess some people
No.
some people that feel disrespected real bad might say it's a 10
Yeah, no, I get it, but I think that's a little more.
because
That's a little emotional.
it's a little disrespectful. It was a little
No, it
disrespectful.
is. It was, but it's not a 10.
I don't know.
It's not a 10
For
just because you in your feelings.
some people like me, it might be a 10.
Yeah, that means you'll be in your
It might be
feelings.
11 because 10 don't go high enough.
Because that means you're super in your feelings. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
in your feelings if that's a 10 or 11. Like, so if that's a 10 or 11, then what is hiring McDaniels is then? That should be a 1,000 then. If that's a 10 or 11, we should have never brought McDaniels in here to begin with. Oh, we ain't mad at that.
Yeah, I'm a little mad at that, but I'm not as I thought he would do better. I had higher expectations from him, but he's obviously a great offensive play caller. He just can't coach.
He said he should have said flock nest, bird coop,
Yeah, Bird.
chicken coop,
Yeah,
anything. Anything with flock nation, huh?
yeah, he could have said anything. He could have said chicken heads.
Yeah,
Chicken heads.
no.
You
Yeah,
chicken
I
heads.
feel Webb said Max seemed like the kind of player that would play until he forced to retire. So with that being said, he probably won't retire as a Raider. If he win the Super Bowl with the Raiders, he for sure ain't going nowhere. If he get close to winning the Super Bowl with the Raiders, he ain't going nowhere.
I don't. See, I'm a vengeful kind of person. I don't want him to win a Super Bowl with us now.
See? Why?
I'm a vengeful person.
Come on, bro.
I'm vengeful.
So me and you was on the field and we was playing. And I was like, bro, you out here acting like a bee, because you keep letting this dude whoop your butt.
Oh, I ain't gonna be mad at you about that. I'm not gonna take that personal. That's different.
But that's different.
Yeah, that's a little different. It's like a woman walking up and slapping you in the face in front of all your friends or something.
Yeah, you should laugh at that. You should laugh at that.
That's like, you're like, hey, what's cracking with that?
Yeah, you remember on Karate Kid? I think it was Karate Kid 3 where Daniel was in Bahama or wherever he was.
You talking about Okinawa? You mean part 3?
Yeah, Okinawa. Yeah, it might have been 2. But either way it go. Remember when the dude, the Chinese, whatever he was, Asian guy, the girl threw the tomato on his shirt or whatever, and he just took it off. He just yoked on there and threw it. That's how you supposed to do. I'm gonna find that clip and put it right here, because that's what you do. You supposed to laugh at that. Like, you should have known. Like, oh, Max was in his feelings. He didn't know. He was just in his feelings. Like, if your girl say you got a little thing and you know it ain't little, why get mad?
Why get mad? But I can't give him an excuse for him being in his feelings. There's been plenty of people that never went anywhere that are just as good as him, and they never complained about nothing.
So the last few years we won more games without Maxx in. So your advanced analytics says that we should get rid of Maxx then because we win more games. And we might as well start AOC too, right? Because he got 20 something touchdowns and 11 interceptions, and he's 7-10. So we should start AOC. We should get rid of Maxx and get him like 2 extra linemen to stick next to him because he can't run. Like, forget the running backs. Just put 2 extra linemen over there in the backfield to block for him. You know what I'm saying? And then we can take one of them out and put Genty in sometimes.
We can do the 49er thing, or the Chicago Bear thing. Really, the Chicago Bears made it famous, but the Niners did it to them in like 83 or 84 with their offensive and defensive linemen.
Bruce Willis like, hey, leave AOC alone.
Yeah, we know,
bro. I'm trying to find out ways to put him on the field because everybody seems to think he should be playing. So I just figured out a way he can get on the field. We can put him at quarterback, and we can get 2 extra linemen and put in the backfield to block for him, just in case the other 5 linemen don't block. Yep, I just figured it out. I should be hit the like button if y'all like that. Hit the like button if you like that idea. But so who's with Maxx? So the Flock Nation thing though. So people are gonna hold it against him. He did not address it. He should have just addressed it, I think. I think he should have just addressed it.
Yeah, he should have came out here and said, you know what, I was wrong for even saying anything like that. I apologize. Now let's go win some football games. Got to take responsibility.
You do. That was like stepping on the shield. Like if he would have walked in and stepped on the shield, like I get it. Or let's say he walked on the shield on the way out, knowing that he never really stepped on it before. He would have to answer for that though. But not to the point where I would be like trade Maxx every year until he apologized. That's crazy, just football wise. We should be happy that we have Maxx right now. We should. A lot of fans don't deserve Maxx because we should be happy
I
that that
think a
trade
lot of I
fell.
think Max don't deserve a lot of these fans. I think the
Why?
exact
Why? Because he said Flock Nation.
because he wilding out.
Because he said Flock Nation.
He said a
That
couple
boy,
of things.
he too much of a leader. He too much of a leader for me to expect him to be perfect, especially in this franchise. So I don't. I'm not tripping on what he said. Really, like,
I hear you. I hear you.
and I really want y'all not to trip too, though, because really, at the end of the day, he's the leader of our team, and he's part of the culture change, and he's been part of every culture change. But we so much that we blame him when we couldn't change the culture.
Well, we tried to change the culture, but he didn't leave.
Oh my God!
You like that? You like that? Come in with the low blow,
I do like
come
that,
in and hit
Kirk
you right in the
Cousins.
stomach.
I do like that, Kirk Cousins. But it's not that he wouldn't leave. No, he got rejected to leave because we got a gift horse. See what they say about the gift horse? You should never look them in the mouth. And what we doing? We looking the gift horse all in the mouth, counting the teeth. It's one teeth missing. Not one tooth. It's one teeth missing. Like, I want that one too. We looking the gift horse right in the mouth.
We sure is.
He said we tried to, but he wouldn't leave.
Right, with that.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. So, oh boy. But now I will say this though about the Flock Nation statement though, because let's say his contract is coming out and he's playing good or whatever, and he's on the fence about leaving or not. He owes us to stay at this point. He owes us because remember I gave the scenario if Spytech got a call like the Eagles call and they offer 2 first rounds or whatever, a good package, a decent package, and he like, ooh, Raiders was 2-6. He owes it to us not to go because of that comment though. Because of that comment alone, he owes us because of that. As far as loyalty, because I don't think he just was being disloyal because he said the Flock Nation thing. And plus, why would he leave when he got the defensive coach that he wants?
These hoes ain't loyal.
Why would he leave if he got the defensive coach that he wants?
You might have no defensive coach you want. You might be right. You might be right.
What you mean nobody said AOC should be playing? They are just grateful he could be playing if he had to play.
I don't know.
No, I don't think that's what it is, bro. They think he should be playing because they keep saying he don't never get the opportunity to play in the right situation
with the right coach,
in the right O line,
and
the right running back, with the right amount of time. Yeah. So I'm not understanding that, but people are saying that though. Yeah, you right about this though, Bruce Willis. He wouldn't have said that if he was in Oakland. But see, Vegas ain't Oakland, so I could see. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I don't expect Las Vegas to respond like how Oakland would respond. Because had he said it in Oakland, I might have been went from a 2 to like a 6. I might have been at like a 6 already. I would have started at about a 6. I probably would have started at a 6 to be honest. If the Raiders was in Oakland, but see, y'all these new Raider fans, the ones that condition this kind of stuff to be all right. So that's why I wasn't tripping. That's an excellent point because I would have felt some type of way if he just said that in Oakland. Show and the Raiders and the Oakland fans would have let him know, and he would have addressed it, or he would have been like Donald Penn fighting with somebody walking into the stadium or walking out the stadium.
Yeah, getting a bottle thrown at his Maserati and shit.
Yeah, that's what would have happened. But see, these Vegas fans ain't built like that, so why should I expect that? Let it fly. That's a good point, bro. That's a good point. He said, didn't LA and Cleveland just show us that Maxx isn't worth 2 number ones? How? How? Maybe. I think it makes him worth more, but had the deal not failed, he would have been worth. They'd have been like, dang, we got a steal for Maxx Crosby. We only gave up 2 first rounds. They gave up a player, a first round, and some more draft picks. They would have felt like they got a steal for Maxx Crosby if they would have just gave 2 first rounds. But the market is reset now because of Maxx. They simply just didn't want to wait till he finished rehabbing. Because it's not like a career-ending injury.
He's Jose loyal.
They just got scared. They had Klay Thompson phobia. Like, oh, I got to play with it a little bit, but I don't really want to keep it. So they had him come out there and everything. And so I think Maxx going to be around for a minute, y'all.
He might be. But we'll see. He may not fit the system. Even though this is his defensive line coach and his best friend and stuff. We know how much that matters.
Mm-hmm. So this is a prove a year. I think this is a prove a year for Maxx. Because he is going to want some money next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Going to have to restructure his contract or give him some more guaranteed money. And that's not Maxx Crosby exclusive. That's across the league. Matter of fact, isn't that what Pickens holding out for the Cowboys right now? He signed a franchise tag. He ain't showing up.
Yeah, that's all right. And he can not show up, not get paid for the year.
No, I mean, he gonna show up eventually.
He might. He better save his money. He better have been living humbly.
We never did Maxx wrong. We never did Maxx wrong. I think we did Maxx wrong about not putting a better product on the field.
He's Jose loyal.
That's what I mean by that. That he did him wrong. And then expect him to keep wanting to go through the rebuild. Like, we literally kept starting over. And then we dogged out Derek Carr.
Hey, so let me ask you something. If you're at your job, right, and your job just keeps failing and failing and failing, right, and it just keeps failing and failing, right, and then do you just quit and walk away?
If the company keep failing and failing and failing.
Yeah, but it keeps coming back. But then it just keeps failing, and it keeps doing the same dumb shit. Do you say, fuck it, I'm gonna go work somewhere else, or what do you do?
I don't know. It kind of depends on how much you can deal with.
Right.
It kind of has to do with how they're treating you, or how they're treating themselves, or how they treating other employees that you respect. It's tough because I could see why he wanted out. And you're 28. You're not young, but you're not old either.
Mm-hmm.
And teams would love you on their D line. Sorry.
Okay.
He'll go to the playoffs before the Raiders would.
Yeah. Okay. That's yet
If
to
he
be
went to
seen.
Chicago, or Philly, he's already in the playoffs just putting on a uniform. So he's already in a better position.
That's possible.
Because I'm pretty sure Chicago going to be aggressive now that the Rams did what they did.
They might. We haven't heard that anybody picked up the phone to call for him, though.
No, we haven't heard about it, but I'm sure that the phone is ringing.
Do you think the Bears got on the phone and said, "Oh, we need to get Maxx Crosby because they got the Rams. They went and got Myles Garrett."
Well, they was trying to get him before that, but now they just have to offer more. And by Myles Garrett getting such a big package, we might get offered more. And if we get offered more, does Max leave?
Yeah.
I say no.
Yeah.
I say no.
I say he do. It's a business decision.
Right, and I think he's gonna choose with his heart this time. Well, I guess that's what he's been doing too, though. He been going with his heart.
He want to go win. You don't want to. I understand. He wanted to help make this team a winner, but he just don't have it in him. He's just got to admit that he didn't have it in him. He's not a Raider, and he's got to move on to another team. He just ain't got it in him. He ain't a Raider though.
Of course he is. He didn't fail the Raider. He did his part.
Okay.
But speaking of doing his part, what do you expect from him game one? Game one this season. What is the expectations for Max?
I just expect Max to come out and be good old Max. I don't have any, super expectations from him. I think he'll just come out here and give us another consistent year. Hopefully he'll get, double-digit sacks again this year. But, it just depends on, what defense we're going to run. I'm interested to see how he's going to play the 3-4. So I'm interested in seeing that. I'm interested in seeing how everything's going to fit together.
So game one, I expect him to try to get his motor going. I don't expect him to really be in mid-season form until like game 4 or close to mid-season form. I won't say in mid-season form because I mean you peaking. But I don't think he's peaking, but I think he'll be trending and start getting better. I think the defense itself is just going to be exciting. And I think it's just like having a new change of scenery. Like you feel reinvigorated. And I think that's where he is. Like he almost missed an opportunity, a big opportunity. And I think that by him actually seeing what the Raiders did, the moves they made, he appreciates that. I think he appreciates that. And I think that's what all he was asking for. Because we haven't done this. We haven't done this in a long time. And I think that's all he was really asking for. Because you can't guarantee anything because he can go to these other teams. They don't guarantee they're going to win the Super Bowl. Just like it's not guaranteed the Rams go to the Super Bowl. We already had that conversation, Randy Moss and Tom Brady. Because if you go off statistics and on what's on paper, you would think they're unbeatable. But you still got to play the game. And they went, undefeated that whole year, killing the league. And they lost the one game that it counted. They lost the one game that counted.
18-1.
They lost the one game that counted.
Yep. The game that counted the most. They could have lost any other game, would have been good.
Yep. So game one, 40 plus plays, no mistakes, no injuries, a handful of tackles, and a sack or two. If he come out in game one and get a sack or two, oh, then yeah, that's a better situation than I think. I don't think he might register a sack for like a week or two.
I don't think it's going to take him that long to get going. He should be able to get a sack the first weekend. I don't think. I don't think he. I would think he'd be out of shape if that happened.
It's like I wouldn't expect Patrick Mahomes to come out and throw for 3 touchdowns his first game back. I just think that he just needs to he needs to get into football shape. Yeah, I just think he'll need to get in football shape and rhythm because he probably won't play a lot in the preseason. So
All right.
game one, I expect him to be solid, be a rotational piece, and we ease him into it because it's not like he Jermod McCoy. He's just going through a natural healing process. And of course he wants to go, but we got to make sure he doesn't injure himself. You got to stop him from himself because if he mess around and injure himself again, oh, that'd probably be the worst thing that happened. Knock on wood if you with me.
Knock on wood.
So
you with me.
So I wouldn't want to rush him into it, but okay. Alfredo says 3 sacks out the gate. We're playing the Dolphins at home. You know what? You got a point. I wouldn't go high. 3 sacks. That's a lot. I mean, he'll got almost a quarter of his sacks of last year in one game, the first game at that. But we are playing the Dolphins. I could see him getting a sack, but like I said, I expect that 1 sack in 2 weeks.
See, I'm thinking he should be getting a sack a game minimum, but that's just my thought.
At this point, is Maxx a base end or outside LV?
He's a base end.
You think so?
Yep. I don't think he could be an outside linebacker.
In certain situations?
Maybe, but I don't see him. I don't know. They might catch him and catch the defense and keep him in there and do a pass or something and make him go into coverage.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Because he can only really cover in zone. You don't want him guarding nobody man to man. So he probably would go a zone, but we would know that. So like maybe like a third, like let's say like a 3rd and 8. You might can drop Maxx back and then rush somebody off, rush the linebacker in, and drop him like the inside linebacker or something like that. But he's definitely gonna have to go to zone coverage.
Right. Gonna have to do something.
Yeah. I'm so wow. We talked about if he does come back and we play, let's say we play okay. Is he going to be an issue or a distraction next year? Do we think Maxx is going to be a distraction? Because I'm trying to figure out if it's anything else other than the fact that he said "Flock Nation" that we have a problem with Maxx. Like, why are we even talking about trading him? Is it simply because that he's at his highest value right now, or what is it?
Well, we might have thought he was at his highest value right now, but we're gonna have to wait to see at the end of the season if he's at his highest value. That's what we're going to determine, right?
You know what I'm saying? Is that why we keep trying to trade him while he's at his highest value right now?
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
But why do that all the time?
Do what all the time?
When a player gets a certain age, you trade him because he's at his highest value.
Well, because you want to get out of the contract and help the team with draft picks. It's a business decision.
Right. So that means you don't have to do it.
No, you don't have to. You could get emotional and be like, "Yeah, no, we'll keep him."
I think emotional will probably be the opposite. We get rid of him because we feel like we can get the most for him right now. But if he is playing good on the defense, why would we get rid of him? Knowing that edge rushers are one of the hardest positions to replace, other than left tackle and quarterback. Like, why would we even get rid of a cornerstone of our franchise? Why wouldn't we support the cornerstone of our franchise?
Well, we'll get another cornerstone.
Yeah, you're right.
We could draft somebody else. People get drafted every year, bro.
Yeah, but not the top
We didn't know
pass
Maxx
rushers in
Crosby
the
was going
game.
to be Maxx Crosby until now.
Not the top pass rushers in the game, though.
Somebody's got to replace him.
Weber says, not right now. Weber says his value will peak during near the trade line. Yeah, trade deadline. It will. It will. Twan, what's up, brother?
Twan, what's cracking?
What's good, fam?
How you
What's
doing?
up? What's up? What's up? Glad you pulled up, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad you let me in the club.
You in there? It's an exclusive club, though. It's real exclusive. So we was talking about Maxx. We was having a calm conversation actually, because I said I want the Raider Nation to be able to sit down because I told you I'm trying to work on our mental health.
Okay.
I'm trying to help our mental health in the nation. Sometimes I yell, sometimes I don't. Tonight I'm not gonna yell. Well, I ain't gonna say tonight. This show because I might end up yelling later. But so Maxx Crosby. I essentially was saying, I don't know how much of the show you've seen, but I was essentially saying, is that the hurdle we need to get over about him saying Flock Nation? And I really took it into consideration, the disrespect. And one of the comments said that he would have never said that in Oakland. And I said we would have responded different in Oakland too. This is Las Vegas Raiders is not Oakland Raiders. Yesterday's price is not today's price. So I'm like, okay. Whereas if I was in Oakland, he said it, I would have took it at like a 6. But when I heard it now, I took it at like a 2 because it just didn't. He was being petty. Okay, he was. I took it as he was just trying to be embraced by his new culture. But he's always a Raider, and I would never take that away from him. And I've seen them essentially starting to treat him like how they feel about Derek Carr. Half the people don't like him, and half the people do. And I'm like, well, if you playing for a franchise where half the people like you and you're a cornerstone of the franchise, that's tough to play in. And then you feel some type of way when he tries to do what's best for him now at that point. But so the question was, is that the major hurdle we need to get rid of? Is he wrong for not addressing it? How would you like to see him handle that situation?
Honestly, I feel like it is what it is. If we were talking about like the last live we had, if you guys haven't watched that, go watch that. We talked about the Maxx situation, and this kind of seems like it could possibly be a part 2 of it, but I think I'm not really too hurt on that. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to be a face of a franchise. He's trying to be an iconic player for whatever franchise he goes to. And he was trying to, at that time, he was under the assumption that the ink is dried and everything was going to be okay. And he was that was going to be his new home. So, he said Flock Nation, and I understand Raider Nation. There's only one nation, and it's Raider Nation. So yeah, I do see how that's offensive for me. I just want the production on the field to follow suit. So I'm not too hell bent over it. I think if he produces, I think for those that are feeling some type of way about it, I think if he produces, if he puts up the numbers, you know what I'm saying, I think they'll let that go. The saying winning is the best deodorant is similar in this situation. If he is going out there getting sacks, doing forcing fumbles, doing all of that, putting in that work on production on the field, I think some of that bitterness from people that do feel that way, it will go away. But for me, I don't have any feelings on personal feelings on that.
I agree with you that winning does cure a whole lot, right? Winning does have a way to do that, but I kind of think that it kind of dug deep on some people, and I think they still would have some kind of angst against Maxx because he ever said it. And I'm cool with that. I just wish those people would make that part be known instead of every year just saying, okay, we need to trade Maxx, or we need to keep saying we need to trade Maxx, or Maxx needs to do better. And I'm like, Maxx did better last year than he did the year before that, but people don't seem to think that. And I'm like, well, what do you expect from him? And they'd be like 10 sacks. And I'm like, he had 10 sacks last year. And he got shut down early, which was a good idea, come to look out. As far as from the Raiders standpoint, because they were like, hey, you need to get better. I'm going to save you from yourself. So that's why I kind of think that relationship between the Raiders and Spytek, and Crosby is deeper than we thought. So I want to ask you a few questions. If the Raiders got a trade package from like a Chicago or Philadelphia or somebody, 2 first-round picks, maybe even a 4th or 5th, whatever. Just say it's a nice package. And they go, and Spytek goes to Crosby and say, "Hey, we got this this package. How do you feel about it?" First, do you think they'll go to him first and ask him what he feel about it? Second, do you think they'll just trade him because that's what we wanted? Or third, do you think they'll collaborate, and how do you think they'll handle that?
At this point, I don't think there's much collaboration. I think at this point, if Spytek feels like he can get value for this player, he's going to move him. I think, and that's why, with the other statement that you said about, some people felt like, he needed to be traded, etc. I was in that boat. Not saying that I don't like Maxx as a player, not saying that I don't, care for Maxx and what he's done for the franchise, but I'm looking in the aspect of, if we want to get value for this guy, and respectable value, you got to move him now. And there's a timeline, where that value for a player will go down, and Maxx is getting close to that, that time frame because of the concerns of his injuries and et cetera with the knee. So, I was like, hey, if we're in a situation where we can get a first and some other picks, then you want to try to get that value. As much as we may like Maxx, you might want to get that value, for the future ahead. We don't want to be in a position where we have players here and we don't get value for them. We ran into that in so many years past where and I'll name 2 or 3. Darren Waller, you know what I'm saying? Not the value that we should have got for wise. Derek Carr, with the value that we got off of that pick, was not was not, you know what I'm saying? Even Josh Jacobs, like we pretty much let Josh Jacobs go without getting, much back. You know what I'm saying? So we need to, in order to continue to get fresh bodies in here, we need to try to get the value off of the value players that we do have. And that does have a time frame. I'm reminded of the Patriots. They talked about, I rather trade a player a year before, a year early than a year too late. And they do that a lot. They'll trade a guy, right when you think he has 1 or 2 more years left, because they want the value. You know what I'm saying? They rather take the value than to have a guy pretty much sit and rot, on a roster and not get anything.
And you brought up Josh Jacobs. That's another person that Maxx watched the Raiders do a certain type of way. That's why I don't blame Maxx for building the exit strategy for himself if he really seen the writing on the wall. So my question to you is, what is his trade value in your opinion now that Myles Garrett got a player, a first round, and some more draft picks? So 2 first rounds, I think looking back now, the Ravens will look at that as a good, cool deal. Like they gave up 2 first rounds. You didn't have to give up no player, but they've never traded their first round pick before. So I think they got cold feet. They went so far they gave up 2. It's kind of like when you might have learned how to swim a little bit on your own, but you was in like a little 5-foot water and you thought you could swim, and then you jumped in 10 feet and then you panicked. So you jumped, you just knew how to swim just enough to get to the side. I think that's what happened to the Ravens. So what do you think his draft capital is worth now?
Honestly, to be honest, and I'm going to be very blunt with you, I really don't know at this point because of a few things. First of all, in my personal opinion, Maxx Crosby is not Myles Garrett. So the value that Myles Garrett got is not going to equate what Maxx Crosby is going to get, healthy or not. Also, with that being said, I think with the injury tarnish that's put on Maxx Crosby because of what happened with the Ravens, that's automatically going to bump the value that we thought he was going to get down, just automatically. They're going to, everybody right now, because of that mark that's on him, is going to lowball him. And that kind of goes back to the Flock Nation thing. I think the mark that he put on himself by saying Flock Nation, if he doesn't produce, that's what's going to come up from all these other guys that like you said, felt some type of way. But in regards to the value, I just feel like he's going to be in a situation where the initial value that he had, I think it might be less than that. I don't foresee anybody coming, you know what I'm saying, within the 31 teams or the 30 teams that are going to give what the Ravens gave. It's going to be less than that.
Yeah, Webb says his comments probably mean more to us, the fans, than it does other players. They know the game. Yeah, they know the business for sure. And that's what I try to get us to understand, that was it's part of the business. It was petty. It was petty. I agree. But I don't think that I just don't feel that he was trying to be petty, but it was petty though. So I don't necessarily think that, but I can see that.
It definitely created a gray area, and when you create a gray area, it can go either way. You know what I'm saying? And that's why That's why we're having these conversations and
created a
have had
server
these
area.
conversations, because everybody has almost, you have people on this side, you have people on that side, and that's because that gray area. It was no black and white with that statement, unfortunately.
I get Miles Garrett is another level player than Maxx Crosby, but Maxx Crosby can get some draft capital. Now, let's say he don't get traded this year, and by the end of the year, he has 14 sacks. Obviously, a better season. He's going to be 1 year removed from his knee healing and everything, so he's going to be back to being Max pretty much. Is he worth 2 first-round picks then?
At that point, I think so. I think the hesitation with the other teams in the NFL is like, let's, after we've got the prognosis, however you want to take it, let's really see how that knee is. And that's why I said, if he hits the numbers, then there might be, that's where I want him to be. Like you said, 14 sacks. That's kind of, I want him in that neighborhood. But I also want him in that neighborhood because if we decide to trade him, I think that's a good marker for teams to, whether it's the Ravens again or, another team to throw what that value that we got, and I know why you're saying the 2 first rounds, because I think that's what they were pretty much going to give in that Ravens deal. So yeah, I think it would put him back in that neighborhood if he did hit those numbers. Remember, that's why the last live we talked about, I said stats, because stats are stats don't necessarily win the game, but when in regards to negotiations and value, they're looking at stats. They're looking at, hey, did you make the Pro Bowl? Were you all pro? Those are the things that people look at, especially when you're making trades, but you're also, making trades, but also in the situation of negotiations for contracts.
I absolutely think you can leverage yourself with the stats. Don't get me wrong about that. I'm not saying stats don't matter, but I do see what you're saying, because the stats is the great equalizer, right? Because that gives you your ability to get more money or acquire more picks or more capital. So I guess I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question is, do you think Max will retire a Raider? I'm not hold on. I'm not talking about leave and come back. I'm talking about stay with the Raiders through and through.
That's a tough question. And the reason why I say it's a tough question, because I think my heart would say yes. Let's Max ride this out. But I don't know spy tech. If I had at least another year and a half or something with spy tech, I could probably tell you exactly what he's thinking and what because he would have shown some things that would have been like, okay, well, he did this, and it's kind of leaning more towards this because this is his tendency, right? I would say I'm gonna say yes. And I don't know if it's going to be a situation where it's going to be him just saying, hey, I'm hanging it up, or it might be a situation where, and I'm knocking on wood on this one, that, his knee, turns for the worse, or something happens where, his knee is causing him more problems. And he just says, hey, I'm just going to, I gave it the best I could, and I'm gonna have to go out that way.
I'm gonna have to be Old Yeller,
because but it also you know, because we listened to the press conference of Maxx Crosby. It seems like he's kind of thinking about that himself. You know, like he's kind of dialing things back. He's talking like he's feeling okay with, you know, resting and getting, you know, maybe taking less snaps, you know, but all that, you know, we don't know that because bullets ain't flying. We don't know that, you know, because the Star Spangled Banner hasn't been sung yet. So we don't know, you know, when games play, how he's going to really feel about, you know, getting pulled off the field on certain downs and stuff like that to preserve him physically. So it, like I said, it might be a situation where he says, F that, and I'm going to, you know, pretty much like I've been saying, he gonna rush his knees out, and that's gonna be his career.
I think he trusts Coach Robbie, and he'll fall back. And here's a question I had. This was a question I had exclusively to you. I did ask it earlier,
Good
but
questions, by the way.
thanks, man. I have this question just for you. And the reason why I'm trying to take this approach, because I know a lot of people think I come at players a certain kind of way, and I do. But I like to think that I'm fair and balanced, and I do want to address these things before we get to the season, because once the bullets get to flying, that ain't the time to have the conversation.
True.
That's not the time to have the conversation and try to figure it out. Because if in fact that the bullets start flying and Maxx act like he don't want to come off the field, and we trying to get him off the field, and he go start pushing coaches and being disgruntled and all that, then he got to go. And everything I said about him being a Raider forever and all that, you got to go, because you're not bigger than the Shield. I'm not never going to cross that line. But at the same time, I just think all things being on his face right now, I think that he's been humbled. Like Pizzle said, he got humbled. This was a humble situation. You know, I don't know if it bruised his ego. I don't know what it was, but I know that him leaving the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, and then he's having a whole new change. And then he was thinking that, and then he saw how he got done dirty before he even signed the paperwork. And then he ended up fortunately back with the Raiders, when he probably was having mixed emotions anyway. Because once they got rid of him, we started pulling the trigger on everything. Like, we want Linderbaum, we want this, we went shopping. And he was like, y'all going shopping without me? And he ended up back in the basket, so it was all good. So here's the question:
we already paid somebody else to replace him, to come here to replace him, though.
We did, I didn't even like that pick, and I didn't even like that.
I kind of disagree, though, Pizzle. I think, and because they said that after the trade, you know, took place, they were like, hey, Maxx was already, we had Maxx already on the books, you know what I'm saying? So that's why when we signed all those guys, we were able to bring Maxx back, because they already factored that Maxx was on the team. So it was a surprise to them that you know, that they had to move him like that. You know what I'm saying? Spike Tech said that in a press conference. He's like, hey, Maxx was already, you know, we had the idea that Maxx was already on the books, so we're going to honor these contracts that we, you know, because these guys, we signed those guys, but they didn't come in yet to, you know, you know, complete the process. So they're like, the money that we said, that's already going to be agreed. That money's still there. We ain't got to, you know what I'm saying, rob Peter to pay Paul to you know, get these guys in. So I think he was already, and they were already factoring that Maxx was going to be here. They had to make that move because of the situations that be.
I think it was smart for them to do that, because had we not spent the money, we'd have been in a situation, boy. We'd have been in a cold situation for real. So here's my question to you. If Maxx went, and I'm assuming that you're right with this, that if Maxx went up there and asked for the trade, and they honored that, right? And they did it respectfully, because the Raiders, we ain't known to do it respectfully. They respectfully done it. If another team came and offered a package that Spy Tech liked, do you think he would come to Maxx and talk to him about it and collaborate on the answer? Do you think he'll pull the trigger and then Maxx will just find out? Or do you think Maxx will leave to make it easier? What do you think how that would play out? Does Maxx have the cachet to override a trade even if the Raiders like the deal?
I don't think necessarily as cachet. I think with this, and this is the early thoughts of that I have with Spytek. I think Spytek will whatever is a deal that sounds good, he's going to pull the trigger on it. No matter who it is, you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I think his process is, he's probably going to tell Maxx, like have a conversation with Maxx, like, hey, the Bears want to get you. I think we might go ahead and go in that direction. But it won't be one of those things where he's going to hear it on ESPN, you know what I'm saying? And he's sitting at home. I think Spytek will have that conversation with him, and let him know before it's released. So I think that's how it would go in regards to negotiations. I don't think Maxx has a, please keep me here kind of, favoritism type of situation. I think if Spytek gets a deal that he likes, he's going to pull the trigger on it.
You agree with you, Pizzle?
Yep.
Cause look at it, and this is on the low end. Like, and I'll say two players, Tyree Wilson and Geno Smith. Nobody thought we was gonna get anything for those fools. And what did Spytek do? Got him a 6 and a 7. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff that, and I'm not saying that Maxx is a 6 or 7s around, value, but Spytek is going to try to get value from any guy that's on the roster before they leave this team. So if someone comes in and throws us 3 firsts, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think he'll go with 3 firsts.
That's a Raider, always a Raider.
Yeah. Well, 3 firsts, I think he'll go. I think if they did get a package, they would go to him, and if he was like, "No, I've been through this before, I'm cool," I think we would retain. I think we would keep him.
Nah.
But Justice for 12 has a very, very good point. He says we have to deal with history. Who was the last great Raider that played his entire career for us and retired a Raider? Will Maxx Crosby be the one? History said. He said, "Will Maxx Crosby be the one?" History says no, and it's hard to circumvent that because all the greats I could think of are they didn't retire a Raider, including Tim Brown.
Well, Howie Long did.
So yeah, Howie Long did.
And how long ago was that?
91
Right.
or 92, maybe 93. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was in the early 90s.
I think Spytek is running things a little differently from what we saw in the past. Hopefully, I'm still fingers crossed. It's still a side eye on Spytek. Not saying that he's not doing a decent job, but it's just kind of like, okay, what are your tendencies? And I think that's where we are fan wise. Because again, we're not in the facility. We got to rely on Hondo Carpenter and some of these other guys that are in the facility to give us, outside of the press conferences, some nuggets here and there. So we're trying to figure out tendencies, right? We're trying to figure out, hey, I'm at this point, I think, what is this? This is his Spytek's second draft. Yes, his second draft. I'm starting to lean more towards like, okay, I kind of have an idea in the neighborhood of what he does in the draft or what he's looking at in the draft. But you're only going to, like, again, we got to see it enough to know his tendencies. And right now it's too early to completely know, you know what I'm saying, his tendencies. Now he might throw it, he might throw a wrench in there every once in a while because, hey, that's what happens, in this business. But, some of the tendencies of these guys, they don't change their stripes too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we still got to see how Spytek's draft picks pan out because a lot of people were questioning the draft picks from last year because we got these third round picks that didn't get a chance to play. We went high on a wide receiver. We need to go high on another wide receiver again, according to what they say we need. That's before we see our offense. So those draft picks need to pan out. And this year, I think this draft picks this year is going to make his ability to draft look very, very well in his second year. And I agree. Like if we can get some packages, then I think we can probably make good with these draft picks. But here's a comment. Oh yeah, Weber said
I gotta
Hey,
we're
take
off.
off, guys.
let me
All
put a
right,
bold
brother.
let
Right
let
on,
me
Paul. Right on, chat. Right on, bro. See you guys later. Have a good
Let-
All
evening.
right, brother.
let me put a bold take out there since you said that, Black, about the wide receiver thing. Be ready, and you're not gonna like this. We might draft an offensive lineman in the first round, and it won't be a wide receiver
Why?
because they might. I have a feeling that they're really going to try to solidify that offensive line, and there's still some, especially on the. I think we're okay at guard, but I think there's some concerns at tackle. One is Colton Miller. We don't know how long he's going. We need to make sure we solidify who's going to be that left tackle. Now, there's some guys in there that are trying to fulfill those roles, and hopefully they can, do that. But don't be surprised if Spytek says, "Hey, I'm about to get the best tackle," you know what I'm saying, in this draft, and solidify the left or the right.
I would be
Because
surprised.
the main priority is not someone that Mendoza can throw the ball to. The main priority is making sure that Mendoza stays on his 2 feet.
I think we'll be fine with that. I'll be surprised if we went O line because I've seen Kubiak do more with less.
Mm.
I've seen him do a lot more with. I've seen him do more with a lot more with a lot less. Like those lines that he had, we went through. And make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and go to that playlist where it says commitment to new excellence. We just did a video talking about the O lines of the Saints and Seattle Seahawks, and the line, especially individually, those players were not something to. They didn't have a player the level of Colton Miller with a Tyler Linderbaum. None of them definitely didn't have a Tyler Linderbaum, and then even a JPJ. And we have all three of them. Now I get that we're looking to see how Colton's going to pan out because of his injury, but Colton is the consummate professional. He's not a guy that gets injured like that. That was just some freak stuff that happened. No different than Brock Bowers last year. Because let's say if something was to happen, God forbid, that Brock Bowers was to tweak an ankle and be out 2 weeks, then technically we can say he injury prone. But I would think that he's not really injury prone based on the type of injuries that he got. So, but that'll be your argument. But I wouldn't call him injury prone, Bowers, if he was, because the hit that he took last year and tweaked his knee, you sprained his knee, that could happen anytime, really, with any receiver. And we just managed that wrong. We managed it wrong because with a sprained knee, we kept trying to put him out there, then put him in a knee brace. You should just let it heal. Should just let it heal the moment it happened, because we were lucky that he didn't tear something.
Well, I mean, and that was the battle, right? Because remember, what did Pete Carroll say? We was going to win. We was going to win and win a lot of games. So he was trying to, and he knew that Brock Bowers was, kind of the best offense. Obviously the best offensive thing smoking in the pass catching game. So he He was trying to keep his best player out there. Where, like you said, we may should have been more conservative in regards to his process. Pete Carroll was like, "Nah, we got to win now. We got to win now, and in order for us to win, we need our best players out there."
Right. Yeah. Had Brock Barnes been out like that, that might have gave us some more grace. But it was so much going on last year, everybody had to go. But Webb said, if we get offered 2 number ones again, hell yeah, trade them. Not even trade them to Kansas City for 2 number ones. I'm not that high on number ones like that. He said 2 number ones is a lot of capital in Spytek hands. I could agree with that.
Especially with my thoughts, because I think we'll be. Then this is my personal opinion. I think we'll be drafting somewhere in the top 10 anyway. So that means we'll have a top 10 pick and then some other draft. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 or 3 more first rounds. Like, yeah, let's get nasty with it. You know what I'm saying? And really, because we most of us, somewhat like this team right now on paper, but when you really fine tune. When you comb this team, you still realize that there's some we need some upgrades. I'll say it like that. I'm not gonna say we have complete holes, but we need some upgrades in some areas. So, and that's where you get those. You take those swings in the draft and try to pull the trigger on some guys like that.
So what are your expectations of Maxx week 1?
Week 1?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be slow. And the reason why I said that is because he's still coming off of an injury. I think, not saying that he's not going to be, trying to, put it, give effort, but I think he'll be still, because I don't foresee him getting much action during the preseason. So if he's not getting much action in the preseason, I think honestly the first 4 games is going to be his preseason. You know what I'm saying? Where he's actually getting the work. You know what I'm saying? So I think the first 4 games, he might, I'm not going to, he might surprise, you know what I'm saying, and get busy. But I think the first 4 games will be his, kind of like his preseason. And that's where he'll be, starting off a little, maybe knocking off some rust, if you call it that, in those first 4 games for sure.
That's where I had him about the first 4 games. I was saying he might get a sack in the first couple games.
Yeah, he might produce. You know what I'm saying? He might get a sack or whatever. But I'm not expecting Maxx to be in full form. You know what I'm saying? Like 100% full form week 1.
Yeah. Website, he doesn't have to have a bunch of sacks to make me happy as long as our team is getting the numbers and the wins. I agree. So we do know that Maxx will need more money next year because he's out of guaranteed money. And let's say he does come back and play a Maxx-like fashion. Do you think that would be a distraction? Is that something that's going to elicit even more interest in trading him? Do you think you give Maxx the bag, more guaranteed money? How do you think that play out? Because we will have to address that again next year.
It's gonna be drama regardless. If Maxx doesn't play well, then it's gonna be the drama of what Maxx is really worth in re-signing him, right? Then it will be the inward battle of Spytek saying this is what I think you're worth because you obviously, and he's going to say this, obviously your knee's not where it is and you're not producing, right? So I don't feel comfortable with giving you the highest paid You know what I'm saying? I'm not breaking the market on you. You know what I'm saying? That's I'm using it. I'm saying it like that, but I know Spy Chase is gonna say it, you know, a more professional way. Now that's the one way. Now the second way is if Maxx is like you said, he's cooking. He's in the, you know, he may not be the depoy, but he's somewhere in the neighborhood, right? His name is in that conversation, right? Now he might be, you know, because he is the best player currently on our defense. Now he might have some suitors, you know, acquiring for his services, or hey, Spy Tech, is what's up with Maxx? You know, they on the phone. Hey, what's up with Maxx? So it can go both ways. The negotiation of re-signing him, how much he's actually worth, versus he's doing, you know, he's putting in work. Obviously, the knee looks like is as best as it can be. He's doing his job, and trades are hitting Spy Tech's phone.
I think we should go back to the Max's untradeable process of thinking.
You
I
think
think
so?
that we should do that. Yeah, I think so.
And the reason why and you know, I've said it, you know, I've said it before, and I've heard some other guys say the same thing, is what do we really have on the defensive side? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Really? So any team that's going to want to pull somebody defensively, their first person they're going to ask is about your big fish, right? If we went over to the, you know, as much as we hate the Niners, who you gonna ask for? Who you gonna ask about on their D line? You know what I'm saying?
And then you say next player, because we're not getting rid of Maxx. We already went through this. It didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. We're gonna keep Maxx. That's what I think we should do.
And he got, you know, like Pizzle said, and you said it, and I feel it too, because he you can tell, you know, that flight from Baltimore back to Las Vegas, you could tell his tone changed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He started tweeting a little more humble. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a humbling experience.
Yeah, he got shook. He did get shook.
He thought he was more than, you know, what other people thought.
Well, Justice for 12 saying the Rams just gave a first round pick, second round pick, a third round pick, and a rounds player for Myles Garrett. That's 4 for 1. The Reds can get 3 number 1 for Maxx. See, that's what I said. Does the Myles Garrett trade increase his value or decrease it? I would say it should increase it. That's why I think the Ravens should be happy that the Ravens would have been happy had they would have just gave away 2 first rounds. It would have looked proportionate. It would have looked right, but they've never been in that situation before, so they panicked. Maxx is going to be healthy again. What do you think about that? 3 number 1 picks.
I mean, you got to pull the trigger on it. You have to.
3 number 1s.
You have to. The value that you have in this player, you don't want that to sit and rot.
And that's why Myles Garrett dips.
Yep.
Because they threw so much capital at him that he had to go. Not to mention, though, I told people, bless you, I told people last year that Myles Garrett was out of there last year. It was like, well, you know, every player says that they're not coming back. I was like, nah, not the way Myles Garrett said it. Myles Garrett he came right out and said it like, I'm not playing here no more. I don't care. And they threw so much money at him that he had to say yeah, and he got out of there a year later.
Not only that, Black. Let me add to your fire. This dude Myles Garrett went on a tour. Okay, he went to every platform and told them, "I want out." You know what I'm saying? And the biggest one that I saw was when he was with Rich Eisen at the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Super Bowl week, and he was sitting up there like, "Hey, if they don't come to me, I'm out of here." And again, like you said, the only thing that brought Myles back was the boatload of money they threw at him. And what happened? You see how you see, and let me take a few seconds to preach a little bit. You see how God works. He literally got a big contract from the Cleveland Browns. Then he goes to the Rams, and what does he get? Not only is he in line for a Super Bowl, because we know the Rams is a Super Bowl caliber team, but he's also getting the same money that he was going to get with the Cleveland Browns. Look at God.
Look at God, all right. Yeah. So this is for 12. Go ahead and ask. He's like, but no one's going to give 3 number ones for Mac. Frank Webb says, those Rams picks are going to be late round ones. That's true. Why they threw so many of them at him.
I mean, and that's it. It's not necessarily, and let's be honest. It still works for the Cleveland, and my eyes is killing me. It still doesn't matter, because we know that the Cleveland Browns is going to be somewhere in the top 10 themselves. So they going to have a high round pick, and then they'll be able to get something in the later rounds, because we
then double back in the top of the second round.
Yeah.
Just for 12 said a team will do a first, a second, and third for Max, not 3 first rounds for Max. Even a first, second, and third in Spytek's hand could be dangerous.
Yep. I'll say this early. I think, and again, like, because I'm still trying to figure out Spytek's tendencies, but I'm still leaning more towards the idea that Spytek is not in the business of letting people walk out of here without getting value for them.
That's what it looked like.
He'll take a bag of hot Cheetos and some Aquafina water. You know what I'm saying?
And a 7th round pick. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If he can, for anybody that's on our roster, before he just lets them go.
That does look like how he play ball. And I just think this is going to be the exception to the rule. Because if we do that, if we get rid of Max, then guess who's next? Who's next? Brock Bowers. And you can get a farm for Brock Bowers. I ain't saying like next year or after next year we'll start talking it.
I think it might be a hard one, because it might be, because I'm really trying to lean more towards your thought, even though I'm not in agreement with it. To lean more towards your thought, I think it might be when Brock Bowers actually gets money. I don't think he'll get shopped in his rookie contract. It'd be maybe that second major contract.
How many years he have on his rookie contract? Yeah, 2 more? And then we'll end up giving him money. and then like 2 years after that. So that's like what, 4 years? And he like 23 right now, or 27. Max is 28. So we'll start talking about shopping Brock Bowers at that point. And that's why I don't necessarily like the fact that we do that, because how do you how do you how do you build stability when you know when you get to a certain point in your career they're about to get rid of you? No matter what y'all doing. Actually, the better y'all play, the better, because we can get more for you.
Mm.
Like, why? That's what I'm saying. With Max, we need to just let Max be. If Max production start falling, then he need to come in spot positions. I'm talking about towards his career, because he's 28 now. We don't want to keep giving him contract after contract after contract, because we don't want to give him more guaranteed money now, and then we got to double back again in a year or two, and then give him another big contract when he turned 31 to finish out his career for like another 4 years, and he might get 2 years of that.
So question. How many years do you think Max has left?
Maybe like 5 seasons.
Okay, I
We
was
come out,
I was close. I said about 4.
yeah, of high level play.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like 4 or 5.
Okay.
You start seeing that drop at that year 5.
Okay.
And then he'll start being where he can't get more than 10 sacks no more. I mean, like, he can't get to 10 sacks no more.
Yeah.
You know?
I think he's in that, like, he's on the last end of the window. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he's not too old where we need to get rid of him now because he's not in the window, but he's also like right at the cusp of like where it's like, okay, well, and I think that's and to your thought of, you know, let's just go ahead and keep Max and, you know, let it ride out. Well, in that situation, that means you're trying to, let's just say 4 or 5 years, right? That means you're trying to really make a play for the Super Bowl within those 4 or 5 years, which I think they're trying to do a 3-year window.
Exactly. That's how I feel too. I feel like it's a
So,
3-year window too.
yeah.
Webb says, Twine, hopefully we get the best value from Max on the field. I am sure that that's what we really should want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We
Yeah.
want again. We whether we bite the bait or not. The only way that there will be bait to take is if Max produces. Because I guarantee you that if Max goes out there and only puts up 4 sacks for the season, people's gonna be like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah, they're gonna be cool on him, but then they're gonna be like, well, maybe because of the injury, let's see how he play next year.
And they'll wait for that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
in order for the bait to be bitten, we need Max to produce. And I'm on that regardless. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're looking to trade him or not, I want, like I said, I want him in that 14 neighborhood.
Justice for 12 say Max will ball for us. Remember, Kobe Bryant was almost traded to the Bulls twice in '04 when him and Shaq couldn't get along, but we still played hard for the Lakers. That's how, and I love that because, you know, I think it's important to have that Mamba mentality, and I think that in order to win, we have to have something consistent. So I agree with you there. Like, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So overall, just winding down, We're on the descend now. Put your tray tables up. Get the stuff ready because you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get up out of here.
For
Uh,
sure.
what is your outlook for Maxx going into the season? And I mean, overall, just knowing how you feel and what you think of what transpired, what he said in the press conference, what he said on his show, everything in its totality. Because, like I said, the reason why I did this show, even with this tone, is because I really want us to parse through this. And if we're going to win a championship in this 3 years that you're talking about, it's going to take everybody, including the nation. When people say I don't own the team and what I do, that's a lie. That's a lie. And take it from someone who's invested into the Raiders with PSL tickets and been a Raider his whole life and was in Oakland and everything. And so I'm telling y'all, it matters. But
Mhm.
we can't be divided from what they're doing. We got to be on the same page as them because what we're supposed to do is boost what they got going on, not being fractured over here and waiting for a mistake to come and Mendoza need to play and when they already said that that's not going to happen and don't even make sense logically. Um, if it's a regular competition like they said it was, because you know that Mendoza's not going to beat out Kirk Cousins, but like if he does, Kirk Cousins needs to retire like right now, and let AOC be the backup. So I just think that we need to get on the same page. So what's your overall feelings and thoughts when it comes to Maxx Crosby this year?
I think it definitely is you know, health is wealth, making sure that he gets healthy, that he ramps up and gets out there and produces. I'm looking for, like I said, I'm expecting for him to get to that 14 sack range. I think he can do that. If he's smart about, knowing when to go and when not to go. Um I think, certain conversations that he's been saying in regards to his press conferences about getting rest and being okay, somewhat alluding being okay with the snap count. I think that's going to benefit him in the long run. And I think he'll realize that his production will actually get better if he's not taking all those snaps. So I'm excited for the hungriness of Maxx Crosby. He definitely has a chip on his shoulder. He has something that he needs to prove, not just to Raider Nation, not just to the NFL, but prove to himself. And we'll definitely see how that goes. I'm excited for what I've been hearing defensive line wise and how they, these fronts are going to be deployed. And I think these fronts are the way they're making these fronts deployed. I think it's all with Maxx in mind. So, as long as he stays healthy, I think Maxx might have a great season. And again, that's when we'll start hearing from the people that are not with us on a daily basis. We'll be hearing them rumbling about us. But I want to say this too, Black. You said something about the Raider Nation being a part of the organization and being a part of pretty much generally the Raiders. You are. You know what I'm saying? When you guys hit that subscribe button, when you hit that like button, you know what I'm saying? The things that are done behind the scenes to produce what you're seeing now, that costs money. You know what I'm saying? That costs effort and that costs time. So if you guys can do those free things for us, you know what I'm saying? That can help us, you know what I'm saying, grow and get better. You know what I'm saying? We all trying to get this YouTube money so we can buy some more Raider hats. And guess what these Raider hats do? The money goes back to the organization. You know what I'm saying? When we use that YouTube money, you know what I'm saying, to buy tickets, you know what I'm saying, it goes right back to the organization. So you guys are feeding, you know what I'm saying, the Raiders by supporting us. So why not do it, especially when it's free?
Right. Appreciate those that have too, and those that will on the playback. This is a proven year for Maxx Crosby.
Mm,
He's going to have to prove to the Raider Nation, and like you said eloquently to himself, that he could put this as water under the bridge, as he say. If he want to put that as water under the bridge, then continue being the Max that we know you are and get progressively better. You're only 28, sir.
yep.
And I understand that, and this is part of the game. So you have to prove yourself to yourself and to this nation. You're gonna have to prove all the anguish we're gonna have to go through when it comes to your money next year, because it's gonna come up. And we saw what it did last year, because it kind of fractured people, the fan base, because they was like, get rid of him at his highest. He went through a situation, he was humbled. Like some things, like you even say, it's bigger than money. Because a lot of y'all play the game for the love of the game, and the money is the byproduct of it. And
Mm,
that's probably the best approach to go about that. But I really think he had to prove himself. I'm with you. You got to get around them. That 14 sacks season, you definitely had a better season this year, and it showed. You didn't
mm,
have an offense to help offset that. Now, just like the comment about the read, you need some help. I get it. You need some help. And the help that you have now is all the things that you were upset about, like new players, new system. You got a coach that you like. It's on the defensive side. Now you don't have to stick your neck out for the whole franchise because Clint Kubiak got that side of the ball. All you have to do is be a leader on your side of the ball and not have to be a leader for the whole team. So I think you have to prove it. It shouldn't be hard. It's not. We're not asking you to do something that you ain't done already, and we ain't asking you something that you can't do. So
mm.
at this point, you don't want to address the Flock Nation thing. Hey, that means if you're gonna go that route about it, you got to put up and shut up, and you got to fuck with your pass and your play. Because I don't want to hear nothing all during the season about we should have got rid of Max and get rid of Max and get rid of Max this and get rid of Max that. Because I just think if y'all still tripping off the Flock Nation,
That shit was
that's
fucking
weak.
weak.
I just think we should let that go. But Max, you in the scope though. You are in the scope, so you need to prove yourself and show yourself approved, sir. So that's all I have to say. My expectation level is for you to ball out and do what you say, and that's what you've always done. Comment from Justice for 12 says Max need another player to ball out on defense with him. Max can't do it all by himself. Let's see how our free agent pickups do and rookies on defense. And
Mm.
I think it's going to take a couple years. I think we're going to show promise this year. It's going to take a couple years. That's why I don't think Max is going anywhere. I think he's going to stay a Raider. We just give him the bread, and I hope he don't ask for that much. But
I think we're gonna look back at and like you said, we're the help that Max has or is going to have. We're gonna. I think I'm really feeling strong about um this past draft. I think this past draft we're gonna look back at this when we get to the Super Bowl, and we're gonna see this draft class be the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Not solely the reason why, but we'll see
yeah,
that these are the guys that are the contributors to that Super Bowl. Um, and that's what it is with Max's help. Max's help is young. If you look in the totality of our team, we have a young team and a lot of a lot of young bodies in some key places. So they're going to have to hit their lumps and learn their lumps and get that out of their system. But I think when we look at this hindsight, when we're lifting up that Lombardi, it'll be look for some of these guys in this draft to be a part of that reason.
yeah, because even this draft is going to pull last year's draft together. So I
Yeah.
agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. Hey, y'all make sure y'all hit Raider Twine page. Type in Raider Twine, just like you see on the screen. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for my mans. Because we're gearing up. Gearing up. I appreciate you, brother, coming through.
Oh yeah, you already know, man.
We're about to jump on with the guys in about 15 minutes. We're gonna go to the Raider Ben show. Make sure y'all, well, it's called the Silver and Black Lounge. We lounging over there now, but it's still Raider Ben if you type it into YouTube. And so you should be able to find those two guys on there. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like you said, we put in a lot of work, and we do this for the love and to bring you guys a platform where you can express yourself. So you got any last words for the nation?
Oh man,
The
hey,
chaplain of the nation.
yeah, I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying, for allowing me this moment to speak to the nation. You know what today, I'll tell you what hit me today. I want to tell you, and I'm speaking to you. I'm staring you right in these eyes. You are worth it. You are worth it. You know, there's so many things out here in the world that are telling you what you aren't. There's so many things that are in this world to tell you and try to degrade who you are. And I want to tell you that you're enough and that you're worth it. And not to get too preachy, but I'll leave this with you at the same time. You were so worth it that someone felt the need to die for you. That's how worth it you are. So you are worth it.
I'm a raider from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.